lose this instinct. Once a rat eats another rat, he gets a real taste for it, or becomes addicted. It's all in the blood. The blood is thick and sweet, and once the rat tastes it, it wants it more than anything else. This is the time to let the rat free. He will go hunting other rats. He knows where they live, where they go to eat. He knows all their habits. He prefers rats to eating garbage.
I am a little upset right now. The reason I'm upset is because we got 4 young ladies that have been murdered within the last week off of 85th and Prospect. We got a serial killer again.
Lisa Johnson was enjoying the morning sun sitting near the front door of her home in Excelsior Springs, Missouri, when she heard noise coming from her front porch and her dog began to bark. She began to walk toward her storm door when she heard a woman in a raspy voice say, "Help me." Her first instinct was to think that someone was pulling a Halloween prank on her. When she looked out to see a woman in an S&M plastic dress with a metal dog collar held around her neck by a padlock and ligature marks on her wrist and ankles, as well as duct tape around her neck that looked as if she had pulled it down from her mouth. "Hello, my name is Holly, and this is The Murder She Shed, the place you can watch true crime whenever you have some spare time. Today we are discussing a breaking crime story that could be the possible work of a serial killer near Kansas City in Excelsior Springs. I actually have been in that area before, and when we went to Kansas City, the guy said, "Don't spend the night in Excelsior Springs at the hotel there." I don't know much about Excelsior Springs. I'm sure it has nice people in there, but I guess it's possibly a rough type town. Not very big. It's just like a possible little extension from Kansas City. Just a little bitty place there. It is pretty. It's got a beautiful downtown. I'm sure there's good things about it, but we were told not to spend the night there, that there was a lot of break-ins of your vehicle. So we didn't spend the night there. The woman standing at Lisa's door had escaped a home of a man named Timothy Haslett, who was a 39-year-old, and he lived in Excelsior Springs. Apparently, Haslett has hidden torture rooms in his basement in which he had built in order to abduct and torture women. The woman, they ID'd as TJ only, has been confined in that hidden room since early September. Lisa stated she opened the door to let her know she had to put her dog up first before she let her in because it would have bit her. She let TJ know that she was going to call 911. TJ then stated to her that if he found her, that Haslett would kill her and Lisa too. TJ also stated he had already killed her friends. When Lisa went to throw her dog into her backyard, the woman was terrified that Haslett would come back and see her standing outside, so she ran to a different neighbor's house. When Lisa came back to the front door, she had already called 911 and she had seen the woman go into her neighbor's house. The neighbor was Sierra Tharp's grandmother. Sierra stated her grandmother took TJ into the house, gave her a blanket, and fed her muffins. And she was so hungry she ate them quickly. That is such a grandmother thing to do. That is so sweet. Of course, I guess all of us would do it, but I can just see this little grandma doing it. I don't know. This seems so sweet. Sierra's grandmother said the woman looked to only weigh about 70 pounds, and she told the grandmother that her friends did not survive. So she told 2 people that her friends did not survive. She was able to get free when Haslett left briefly in order to take his son to school, who apparently was in 1st grade. The metal shock collar was restricting her breathing because it had been on so tightly. TJ was able to point Haslett's residence out before being taken to the hospital and then reunited with her family. She told authorities that he had SA'd her and whipped her frequently. TJ had whip marks on her back. The authorities did say the woman's statements did lead them to think that other women may have been hurt or in danger inside the house. She stated Haslett had picked her up on Prospect Street. Authorities stated no other victims were found inside the house, but they did have cadaver dogs out searching the property and have made no comment about the results after it was searched. Although they were seen searching through his trash and carried large bags of evidence from his home. They did take a blue barrel out of the house, and you can see from this drone footage that located in his backyard there are several barrels. Why would he even have these? Kind of strange. The home he currently resides at is a rent house on 300 block of Orchard Road. During a police interview, the police officer stated it was his primary residence, which has me to believe he possibly has another home. Scary. Crews boarded up the windows of the home and placed fencing around the property to keep people out. About an hour after the initial 911 call was placed, Haslett pulled up in a gray Dodge Ram pickup. Officers conducted a felony traffic stop. Haslett was taken into custody on an unrelated animal control violation. I do know he had a pit bull. A neighbor had footage of him being arrested, although it is a little grainy, hard to see. Neighbors said he was quiet and kept to himself, but would often fly his drone around the area. That's scary too. Maybe he's looking for victims. Who knows? Just kind of weird. Excelsior Springs police visited the home of Haslett 3 times in the past year. The request revealed 2 of the 3 calls were to check on Haslett's well-being. Police said of the 2 well-being calls, one stemmed from Haslett's dad, who lives out of state. The second check originated after one of Haslett's co-workers became concerned when he didn't show up for work. Those calls took place on November 23, 2021 and December 31, 2021. A third call was made on July 5th of 2022. But this call was connected to an animal control concern to an off-leash dog at the home. I am guessing this was unusual behavior for him not to show up for work since his family and co-workers wanted to make sure he was safe, which leads you to believe that his abductions could have began sometime around the time of November of 2021. TJ was a 22-year-old black woman, and there have been other black women go missing in the area around those dates. In September, Bishop Tony Caldwell, a Kansas City community leader, made reports that black women were going missing and being murdered in an interview with the Kansas City Defender. In response, the Kansas City Police Department made a statement shooting down those claims and called them completely unfounded. Uncovered disturbing social media posts and comments made by the kidnapper and sexual predator were found on his social media sites. He said in one post, "The race war started a long time ago. Wake up, you dumb bitch." Then in another post, he wrote that Breonna Taylor deserved to die, and I honestly cannot remember once in my life hearing a black person take responsibility for anything except looting and rioting. In another post, he goes into detail about his beliefs that black people are lesser forms of humans than white people, saying, when they decide to act like my equal, then we can discuss their equality. These are only a few of the disgusting racist comments he made. Haslett has lived in the home in Excelsior Springs since at least 2017. He previously resided in Kansas City in 2010 and then Independence until 2015. But originally he comes from Illinois. He attended school in Patoka, Illinois and resided in nearby Vernon around 2008. He appears to have no close family residing in the Kansas City area aside from a young son, roughly 8 years old. Public records show Haslett married in 2013 in Independence. He filed for divorce 2 years later when his son was about a year old. In a subsequent custody case, he maintained joint custody of the child and became the primary custodial parent. After petitioning the court, the boy primarily resided with him at the house that he lives at or rents now, along with a pit bull dog. That arrangement meant Haslett was not responsible for paying child support, but his ex-wife had to pay $400 in child support each month since the boy only lived with her every other weekend and one evening each week. Haslett spent years working as a union railroad employee. His public Facebook profile lists him most recently working at M&H Contractors, a Kansas City-based subcontractor that does rail maintenance work. It is unclear where his place of employment was at the time of his arrest on Friday. In a court ruling during his arraignment, Haslett was determined to be indignant and unable to provide the necessary funding for his own defense, and the Missouri Public Defender's Office was ordered to represent him. Haslett has been charged with first-degree RAPE, first-degree kidnapping, and second-degree assault. He has entered a plea of not guilty, and his preliminary hearing will be December 2nd. Police are disputing claims of other missing women in the area. I just hope his little boy was not a witness to any of these disturbing acts. It is bad enough that he has been raised by such a racist father. What is your thoughts about this case, and do you think he is a serial killer? Well, guys, if I hear anything else, I will try to keep y'all updated. I want to take this time just to thank all my subscribers. I've almost made it to 1,000, and I am so excited about that. And I just thank y'all for everything. You're so good to me. Y'all make the best comments, and you just pour out your love, and I appreciate it, and I do love y'all. I hope that you have a blessed week. Love y'all. Bye. Her first instinct was, God, jeez, horrible. I do know he had a pit bull. I see Samo. Go tell him bye and tell him, and you go lay down so I can get this done. I gotta get this out to the people. The people are waiting. He don't care about the people being waiting. I'm sorry, he's being selfish today. Then flies drone. Ooh. Welcome to the She Shed, where you hear about the dead as you're laying in bed. My name's not Red. Just rhyming, guys. Just rhyming. My name's Holly, though. My name's Holly. I give you lots of jolly, but I'm not gonna supply you with any Molly. I think that's a drug, isn't it? I don't even know, but I've heard it before. I guess it's enough of my wonderful raps. Although I love raps. Wish I could rap. That'd be amazing. I do love raps. I love all kinds of music, basically, except for the classical music, because it kind of reminds me of a serial killer. I don't know what it is. Every time I hear classical, I just go serial killer-like.
You've got to starve a rat until he's so hungry he'll eat another rat. You put 3 rats in a cage and starve them for 9 days. Sooner or later, the strongest rat will eat the other 2. You must keep them in complete darkness, because rats have an instinct not to eat each other. But in blackness, they lose this instinct.